Hello everyone, I hope everybody's having a good day so far. My name is Caden Bratland and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Next Gen Pima Foods.
My name is Ethan Tees and I'm the Chief Operations Officer for Next Gen Pima Foods. We'd like to thank the representatives from the government's office and the panel for being here today.
We're very excited to present to you today a topic that could very well change and shape the future of Arizona's beef industry as we know it.
This topic is lab-grown meat, or as we like to call it, cultured meat. We'll discuss the technology behind cultured meat, as well as the doors it can open for economic growth, sustainability, and leadership in Arizona. Let's dive in.
Now, before we get started, I'd like to take a quick audience survey. So go ahead and raise your hand for me if you are open to the idea of cultured meat in Arizona. It looks like a lot of people here today, so I think we might have some type of bias. Now go ahead and keep those hands raised because I do have a follow-up question. Keep your hand raised if you would further be willing to try cultured meat. All right, looks like we got a few less hands. Now, let's compare that to national sentiment. According to the Associated Press, 56% of US consumers unfortunately feel that cultured meat just sounds weird. Now, hopefully over the course of this presentation here today, less than 56% of you will feel the same. Furthermore, 31% of US consumers say that they will try cultured meat. And of those 31%, 7% would go as far as to replace farmed meat with a cultured alternative. And 10% don't eat meat at all. Now, the importance of these numbers should become increasingly more clear over the course of this presentation. Now, let's shift gears and talk about some of the challenges that the beef industry is currently facing. We're talking about a rising demand for beef, a shortage of workers, a scarcity of natural resources, and the drastic effects of climate change.
We interviewed two key stakeholders that provide unique insights to both the cultured meat and the traditional meat industry. Dr. Stephen Menke proposed that we should create a council of research and innovation to further grow and develop the cultured meat industry. Our next person that we interviewed is Dr. Carla Lombana. She is a veterinarian who has worked in the traditional beef industry for many years. She said that cultured meat can offer solutions for the problems that the traditional beef industry is facing.
We want to give a huge thank you to both of the people that were involved in the interviews for our proposals here today. Now, I'd like to introduce our company, Next Gen Pima Foods. We're a local company dedicated to the innovation of cultured beef in a way that complements the traditional beef industry. We do not want to replace traditional beef, but we want to provide a complement and an alternative in times of need.
Our mission at Next Gen Pima Foods is straightforward. We want to bring cultured beef to the forefront, offering a premier alternative beef source to Arizona that maintains the essence and nutrition of beef while promoting sustainability.
Our goal is to provide and support existing jobs, innovate an industry, and allow Arizona to be seen as a leader in this new economic model. Furthermore, we've addressed some of the challenges that the beef industry is currently facing. We believe that with the implementation of cultured beef, we can alleviate these industry challenges. Next Gen wants to address these challenges head on to fix these problems.
The key stakeholders we look to support here are farmers, ranchers, regulatory agencies, animal rights organizations, academic institutions, all indigenous communities throughout Arizona, the traditional beef industry, and the food industry as a whole. We believe in building a collaborative ecosystem. We want to create a council for research and innovation that includes all of those key stakeholders that my CEO just outlined for you. We want everybody from regulatory experts to renewable energy experts to traditional beef industry workers. We want to make sure that everybody has a say in this growing industry and that everyone has a place in this so that everyone can thrive in this new economic model. We look to support the traditional beef industry by offering training programs for Arizona's ranchers and farmers who wish to transition into the industry. We'd also provide specialized training within each different sectors of our facilities, such as the cell sample collection, bioreactor operation, packaging and labeling of products, as well as the distribution of our products.
Next Gen supports both local communities and indigenous farmers in this process. For local communities, we plan to build and invest in rural infrastructure to allow for jobs to be implemented across the entirety of our state. For indigenous farmers, we understand that they make up 57% of all of Arizona's producers. We want to focus our collaborative efforts in a way that respects their cultural heritage and agricultural practices, because we believe that if we can implement our technology with their sustainable land practices, that we can create high quality ingredients for next gen.
The positive impacts that we can add to our consumers include the further enhancement of nutritional profiles within cultured beef. We can customize these nutritional profiles by removing unhealthy elements from traditional beef, such as saturated fats and heavy metals such as lead or mercury.
For the environment, we understand that the traditional beef industry contributes significantly to greenhouse gases, emissions, land degradation, and water use. And we can cut down on these environmental impacts to maintain and preserve the beautiful ecosystems here in Arizona. Now, let's talk about economic growth. Our plants and facilities will create high quality jobs in areas such as biotechnology, food safety, and all areas of the supply chain. This will in turn diversify the job opportunities that are currently presented in the traditional beef industry. We believe that these efforts will diversify the job opportunities to allow for economic growth while supporting all of our key stakeholders. Now, to bolster those claims, let's look at the compound annual growth rate of the cultured meat industry. This industry is expected to grow at a rate of 23.2% annually over the next decade. This growth rate shows that there is room for the industry and that everyone can thrive, and that this is a viable solution for all of our stakeholders. Furthermore, you may be asking yourselves, how much will this cost the state of Arizona? And while we understand that the initial investments may seem substantial, it is important to recognize the long-term benefits financially for the state of Arizona. We've outlined our proposals and our estimates for the costs that this will incur. We've estimated initial investment and operation costs, research and development costs, as well as marketing and branding to raise consumer awareness and educate the public on the safety, health, and taste of cultured beef, as well as the renewable energy costs so we can reduce emissions and save our Arizona environments.
The FDA is one of 2 regulatory agencies responsible for reviewing and approving cultured meat facilities. The FDA is responsible for creating a written food and safety plan for these facilities that outlines the potential hazards, the preventative measures for those hazards, a recall plan, as well as an up-to-date set of records for each facility's production methods. The USDA is the second regulatory agency, and they're responsible for the processing, packaging, and labeling of all cultured meat products. The FDA is responsible for the early stages of cultured meat production, such as cell sample collection, and they transfer their oversight and jurisdiction to the USDA once a company begins their cell harvesting process. Now, under House Bill 2244, it states that a person labeling any food products must clearly label them as the products that they're labeling and not misrepresent or misbrand the products. This also directly applies to the cultured meat industry, where all cultured meat products must be clearly labeled as a cultured food product. Now, why is Arizona uniquely positioned to lead in the lab-grown meat revolution? Well, Arizona provides a vast amount of open land, they have a history of agricultural innovation, and they have a strong connection to the cattle industry. One of the 5 C's that boosts Arizona's economy is indeed cattle. Utilitarianism is a key ethical theory that complements corporate social responsibility. Utilitarianism states that a person is morally obligated to promote an outcome that produces the most happiness and well-being to the people that they're serving. At NextGen Pima Foods, we want to serve all of our stakeholders, expand the agriculture industry, as well as promote economic flourishment within the state.
Today, Ethan and I outlined our company's proposal for the integration of cultured meat into the traditional meat industry. We believe that this implementation will alleviate industry challenges such as rising demand for beef, a shortage of workers, a scarcity of resources, and the drastic effects of climate change. We create a product that is not only viable, but sustainable, healthy, and safer than what's currently offered by the traditional beef industry. We believe that by working with our stakeholders, by working with the traditional beef industry, by allowing for government oversight, we can position Arizona as a leader in this new economic model. Thank you all very much for your time today. And remember, the stakes are high.
All right, thank you, Pima Community College. Time for your one question.
Should lab-grown meat be developed and scaled up if the long-term consequences on public health and the environment remain uncertain?
Yeah, so for NextGen, we believe that through our Council of Innovation and Research, we can allow for the scaling of cultured beef in a way that guarantees the safety, health, and benefits of cultured meat in the state of Arizona. We also understand that there are multiple other benefits, such as environmental and stakeholder considerations, as well as the economy of Arizona, which can flourish under this new economic model. So there's more to consider than just what is skeptical right now. But we understand that our council can address these issues and further collaborate to ensure a future for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.